So now we've learned quite a few skills, we should now be able to create a times table generator. So let's again look at the specifics of the problem. We need to ask the user to enter a number for which they'd like to see the times tables, and then use a loop to calculate and print the multiplication results from 1 to 10 for that number. So 7 would be 7 times 1, 7 times 2, etc. up to 7 times 10. Right, so inside Python, the first thing we need to do is ask the person or the user to input a times table amount, so or a times table number. So let's go m for multiple equals input, and let's enter something. So enter the times table you like to see. Okay, something similar to that. Now we want to keep going and going and going and going and printing out 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, etc. Until we get to multiple times 10. So we need to keep track of another number, which is how many times we have done that. Yeah. So let's say, for example, we're on number. So we're going to start num equals 1, because we're going to start whatever m is times 1, and then increment this by 1 times 2, etc. in a loop, like similar to what we've done before. We also need to make m an integer, so m equals int of m. Okay, now essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to print m times n, lots of times, adding 1 each time to n. So we could do this, and I've demonstrated why. This is a bad idea in previous videos, because this has just repeated the same thing. And again, this shows the need for a loop. So if we were to run this program here, we're going to get some kind of input. So let's go 7, and we get the 7 times table to a degree. But all we've done is type values and repeat the same thing lots and lots of times. But we can do this in a loop. So let's get rid of that and keep one of them. And we could say something along the lines of, while n is less than or equal to 10, do this. Now that's much smarter, because we're inside a loop, and we can run that program. So let's do this time 9. So now we're printing out a 9 times table up to 90 and stopping. So this is almost there. However, if we look back at the problem on the sheet, we want to print it out in a nice way to show a times table like you would write it out in maths if you were learning a times table. So we want it to output in a bit like this. So let's adapt the program to do so. So we're going to print out m, and then we want to add to that some text, and it's going to be an x. So that's going to be the multiply symbol that we might use in maths, but we're just going to print out an x. So m, in this case, say 7 times whatever n is at that time, and we want to join that to an equals, and then we want to perform the calculation which outputs the result of m times n. So let's do m times n. Okay, so this is quite a complex line, but what happens is when we run it, let's do the 7 times table. So this is what we want, right? But let's just explore what's happening. So 7 times 1 equals 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7, what we input, x n equals m times n. And then this one you can see is a 2, so we add 1 to n each time, and we're going around this loop running this print statement, but each time the value of n is being incremented or increased by 1, and then we're printing out the calculation. And this is also because we can change this number. So we could change this number to 100, and we can enter any number as n that we want. So we could do like the 13 times table up to 13 times 100, and we get the same result. Yeah, computers are really good at doing the same thing lots and lots of times. So again, we could even go up to 1,000 doing the 71 times table, and the computer would be able to do it no problem. Yeah. There we go.